The next statement, I think is very important. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, again Rabbi Yitzchak. This is the third Rabbi Yitzchak in the same piece of Gemara. Lama or lema, to what nimshala tfilas and shel tzadikim? To what are the tfilos of tzadikim compared? Ke'eter. They're compared to a pitchfork. The tfilas of tzadikim are compared to a pitchfork. Everybody know what a pitchfork looks like? All right. Kind of like a rake. What? Fourth one. The tfilas of tzadikim are compared to a pitchfork. I think we're not going to do the rest of this paper. There's important things there. But the tfilas of tzadikim are compared to a pitchfork. Ma eter, just like a pitchfork, just like this pitchfork, mahape chatfua mimakom lamakom. You use it to flip over the grain from one spot to another spot. You're trying to dry up the grain and fluff it up or whatever it is. So you take a pitchfork and you flip it over from one spot to the other spot. Kach tfilas shel tzadikim, so too the tfilas of the tzadikim, ma'afeches midoisav shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it flips over the midos of Hashem, mimidas ragzanis from an anger, lemidas rachmanis to a merciful. Rabbi Yitzchak says, because again we're using the word eter, right? By Yitzchak Avinu it says, vayetar Yitzchak la Hashem. And then Hashem listened to him, vayetar loi, he listened to him. Why are we calling it an eter? Why are we using the word eter? Vayispalel, right? So it's a flip. It's a pitchfork, and a pitchfork is used to flip over a whole pile of hay, a pile of grain, and that's what tfilas of tzaddikim do. They flip over from an anger, from a ragzanis, to a rachamim, to a mercy. It's an interesting, aspect of tefillah. I think tefillah is very complicated, and there's many different types of tefillahs, and there are many different goals of tefillah. Give a second. This is an interesting aspect. We are comparing tefillahs of tzaddikim to something that flips things around. Hashem is angry, daven, and now you get mercy. It's an interesting aspect. I want to dive into this for a minute. You had a question, Shmuel? Huh? So, because we're saying that we call tefillah of tzaddikim pitchforking because it flips over the midas of Hashem. Hashem is holding at a space where he's acting with anger, and then the tefillah of the tzaddikim flips that over to now be merciful. I don't think so. We'll get there in the end. So I think something like this. The Rebbeinu Shalom sets up this world with a plan. And he puts that plan into motion. But he leaves room in that plan for change. The plan is whatever things that are going on in the world should be going on in the world, and God devised it. But he leaves in that plan a makom for change. Things could change. Even though I set up the plan that it should work like this, there is room for things to be different. There's room for things to turn around and for things to change, for the plan to change. And specifically the tefillas of tzaddikim. Not only tzaddikim daven, regular people could daven too, right? And regular people's tefillas are heard too. But when it comes to changing a plan, Hashem is going to listen to the tefillas of tzaddikim more, because who is he going to trust? If you're changing the plan, let's say we have a meeting about different yeshiva policies, right? So I'll sit down with the Rabbeim and we'll discuss this policy and that policy. What do you think? Is it too harsh? Is it too weak? Is it going to be effective? Is it necessary? And the Rebbeim will all weigh in and they'll give their comments, and then we'll come up with a consensus. This is the plan. Am I going to call in somebody that has no experience learning with teenage yeshiva bachrim to be part of that plan? Why not? Because his input is not going to be very valuable. I don't trust his input. If I'm going to leave room to change around the plan, and I'm open to that, the people that are going to be giving the input to change around the plan are going to have to be people that I trust. They're going to have to be people that I trust that their plan is going to work out. Hashem calls the tefillos of tzaddikim a pitchfork because he's going to allow his plan to be pitchforked, to flip over from ragzonis, from anger, to rachmanis, to mercy. But it's only the tefillos of tzaddikim because those are the people he trusts. Going back to this. That was a long one. We said that the tefillos of a tzaddik ben tzaddik are more powerful than the tefillos of a tzaddik ben rasha. And that's why Vayeter Loi, that Hashem listened to Yitzchak and not to Rivka. Everybody was astounded. What do you mean? Isn't it harder to be, except for Rosenberg, which is a very valid point. It's a very valid point. And we see that, unfortunately, today. You go to any kollel and you see guys sitting there taking off from their work time and they're sitting there and learning. And a very large majority of those people are people that did not go to yeshiva and didn't have the luxuries that we have, right? What about everybody else? No, what do you mean? I went to yeshiva 30 years ago, so I don't have to sit in the base medrash and learn every day, right? Unfortunately, we see it all the time. But isn't it harder to be a tzaddik ben rasha? You have to come to it on your own. It wasn't given to you. It wasn't, right? It's a stronger person. That might very well be true. Well, okay, zchus. Okay, fine. But can't we judge people on who they are? But you have the zchus that what you did is that much harder. Why are we relying? I mean, where does that? We understand that there's zchus, but why should that zchus be more of a factor than what I bring to the table as somebody that came to it on my own, right? So that's what I'd say. Anybody ever go shopping at a store online or whatever it is, says been in business since, I was going to go to 1920, but you guys, it's already been in business since 1981, right? That's a long time, right? That's 42 years, right? Been in business since 2000, that's 23 years. You especially see by jewelry stores and banks, right? Established when, a lot of banks like to say when they've been established. Established 1879, or a jewelry store also. Why specifically by jewelry stores and banks?
Those are where you spend a lot of money.
That's where you spend a lot of money, but that's also a place where you kind of feel that you need to trust a lot more. A bank, you're giving somebody your money, and you're hoping you're going to get it back when you want it. A jewelry store, you're walking in, you're buying something that you know very little about. The guy could sell you who knows what if he's not honest and he's not trustworthy, right? You know very, very little about this. But when you walk into the store and you see that they've been in business since 1970, well, they probably have a good track record and they haven't cheated too many people. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in business 70 years later, 50 years later, right? So could be that the Rebbeinu Shalom is going to allow tzaddikim, he's going to listen to their tefillas more, and those are the tefillas that he's going to use to change his plan, the people that have been in business since 1970, the people that have been in business since 1870. Those are the people that there's more of a reliable nature to what they're coming to the table with. I mean, who would you feel more comfortable? Amir Tashem, in a few years, you're all going to get engaged. You walk into a jewelry store. Are you going to feel more comfortable walking into the jewelry store that's open for 6 months or the one that's been around for 50 years? The guy behind the counter, his father and his grandfather were running the store before him. Where is there more security? Where do you have a better chance of not walking out with a piece of glass stuck between a paperclip? So I don't think it's coming to say necessarily, it's not an insult, or we're not riding on the tzaddikim that have come to it on their own and they're b'nei rishoyim. They've done something absolutely incredible. But when it comes to who are you going to listen to, whose advice are you going to seek, and who are you going to let in on your plan and to change policy, you want the person that's been in business the longest, the person that has the track record. What? He was. But Yitzchak wasn't. Yitzchak was a tzaddik ben tzaddik. Sarah, you're right. Yeah, that's right. I don't know. I don't know what happened with Avram and Sarah, what happened here. But this is a discussion we're specifically having with Yitzchak and Rivka, because one was tzaddik ben tzaddik, one was not. A question, go ahead.
Trust
That's a very important question. I'm not equipped to answer it. I'm not equipped to answer it. I'm just saying that what this Gemara is bringing out to us is that Hashem, well, we call a tefillah a pitchfork because Hashem does leave that open. He's created whatever plan and whatever system he has for the world to run in. He's created it in a way, hang on, you asked a question. He's created it in a way that it runs, but he leaves room for change if that change is asked for by tzaddikim. Second question.
If someone's father or something has a good history, right? But they don't.
That's true, but you need to be a tzaddik ben tzaddik. A Russian ben tzaddik's not going to work. A tzaddik ben tzaddik is going to be better.
Let's say you're saying a jewelry store, right? If they were, let's say, pre-owned, then they have a good history, but it's a different.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You need the person right now to be a tzaddik also.
Well, his father was a tzaddik.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And the case we're talking about is a tzaddik, the son of a tzaddik. Okay, so now here are some instructions since I didn't do the rest of it. Question 5 and 6 leave out. On the back. Just put them over here.